Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. Got some relic here, 2004 Chevrolet, 20-year-old New Yorker. It's the Venture van, and it's got a note. And he writes, problem P0452 code, so it's going to be an EVAP code. And then we have the list of parts change, which include but are not limited to the gas cap, fuel tank pressure sensor, canister vent valve, EVAP canister, purge valve, and fuel pump. His request: identify and resolve what's causing the 452 so he can get a sticker on it. Vehicle notes: drove an hour because he saw us on the YouTubes. Car maintenance up to date. Look at the notebook. Coolant sensor connector's bad. It's got a new one in there. Wires from the fuel tank and back wheel pass through a connector plate that is behind the driver's seat. Those connectors were badly corroded, so I spliced the fuel system wires at 70,000 miles. Green electrical tape visible from the bottom of the vehicle as a temporary seal. Let's see how many miles are on it. Oh, that's been a while. It's got 238,000 on it now, so he did that back at 70. The EVAP line that goes from the purge valve to the pressure regulator broke. He repaired it a couple years ago. The initial problem was, this is always good to get at here. Initial problem was that when filling the fuel tank, the fuel pump would click off incorrectly, indicating that the tank was full. So he's talking about the pump at the gas station. He'd put it and, it'd kick off. The new vent valve and EVAP canister resolved that problem, which oftentimes it does. However, I blew the EVAP system with low pressure air, and I do not know if I caused the 452. I borrowed a smoke tester, couldn't find a leak. Fuel gauge is correct. Thank you very much. Love always, Mr. T. Okay, you know what I know. I plugged in the Autel. She just got done doing a scan while we were waiting. We're going to use the Autel on this one, just because I haven't used it in a while. We've been cranking on the Harbor Freight. Oh, this shouldn't be too bad. So it does have a 452. Fuel tank pressure sensor circuit, low voltage. So what does that mean? That means it's either missing power, or it's shorted, or it's a crappy sensor. Let's see. Let's get some data here. While we're standing right here, we want some, we're going to load up some EVAP data. So General Motors, 1.5 volts is normal. But on this one, indeed, it is low, 0.06 volts. So 5 volts is going to be open circuit, and 1.5 would be atmospheric pressure. Easy peasy. Let's throw a lift under it. Hopefully there's enough stuff to lift up on under there, and we'll get it up in the air. I've got the battery maintainer on it. I've got the key on now naturally. So we'll get it up, find out where the sensor is. Hopefully it's accessible. And hopefully we can make some tests. Maybe it has something to do with the wires that got repaired 160,000 miles ago. Let's find out. We'll grab the light, we'll go under this together so we don't miss the element of surprise. Whoa, wait, what's going on up in there? Okay, so there is the green tape he's speaking of. And sorry for the Blair Witch action, but everything that we need to get to is inaccessible. It's all on top of the fuel tank. Therefore, we would have to let the tank down. I don't dare touch any of that currently. Son of a hoo-ha. That sucks. I didn't even look to see how much gas is in it. I guess we could do that on the old scan tool. Now that everybody's dizzy. Fuel level remaining 23%. Well, that's nice of him. 23%, good. And he did say that that is true. Let's see, what can we do here? We want to break as few things as possible. What does it, man, it is dark under here. She's had some oil spraying going on. Okay, good. That baby's still flexy. Because my thought is if we can let the tank down just enough to get to the tank pressure sensor and make our tests there, that would be the best thing, ideally, because like I said, we don't want to mess with this unless we have to. So let me do that. Let me throw a stand under it. Looks like we have 3 straps on there, and then see if we can let it down just a whisper to get our fingers up there. Hopefully the pump's near the back, but I doubt it. Hard to say. Let me see if I can let it down a little bit without unhooking a whole bunch of crap. I did look on a wiring diagram before I dropped that tank down, because I wanted to see, is there any clues or something that we could be missing? So the ground for that fuel tank pressure sensor is the same ground for the fuel level sensor. Plus, if we were missing a ground, your voltage is going to be high, not low. So what we're looking for is either a shorted wire, the signal wire coming out of it, because we have 3 wires going to it, a ground, a 5 volt, and then the signal that comes out. We're either missing the 5 volts, or the signal wire is shorted to ground, or the sensor's just bad. I wanted to see if it shared anything, and it does. It shares its 5 volts actually. So the 5 volt goes to the fuel tank pressure sensor, and it also goes to the AC pressure sensor. So naturally, I grabbed the AC pressure sensor data PID and pulled it up there, and that seems to be about right, 65.7 PSI. The vehicle is stone cold, and it's 68 degrees in my shop. And on 134A systems, they usually will track pressure and temperature are very, very close to each other, you know, until a certain point in the scale, but that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, we look at this and see that we're not, you know, missing just the 5 volt reference coming out of the PCM going to these 2 sensors. So I just wanted to share that with you. Against my better judgment, I think we're just going to make a couple checks right here. Just got to clean these up so we can see wire color. The wires are super hard. Not very fun. I mean, they almost feel like solid core wire. Kind of interesting. Okay, so we have a black, we have a gray. That one's black and white, green, purple. I think the wire coming into it was gray. This one looks like it has a tracer on it. That's gray, black. Let's just grab a meter and see if we have, before we even drop the tank, let's just see if our 5 volts is available here. Got us a diagram here. Gray, oh actually it's gray with a black stripe is our 5 volts. And then evidently after, let's see here. So it shows here, where are we? So gray with a black stripe right there until it gets to a connector, then it turns to gray. So buttons on my underwear, and then let's see, that's a heavy gray there. Okay, so that shows gray with the going for the fuel pump. So okay, so we're gonna go gray black as our 5 volt reference. I'm gonna come down here. We're just gonna pierce it because we don't have a connector to back probe anymore. So we'll pop into that little guy. And then we have a black wire. That is our ground. How many blacks do we have here? We have a black, white there, solid black here. So we're just gonna grab onto it and then see what we see. We'll probe into that with our meter. Key is on. Survey says 5 volts, 4.97 here. We'll kick some light on for you. 4.97 volts. We have 5 volts, so that's good. Scan tool is still reading whatever it's reading there, 0.06 on that pressure sensor. Now, you know our ground is good. Let me grab another probe here. And just for grins and giggles, we're going for a dark green wire, which is the only green here. And this is our signal wire. This is where we're gonna see what's really happening here. We expect to see 1.5 volts. And we do, 1.427, so close enough. Good enough for the girls we run with. That's what we have right here. However, at the computer, it has 0.6. So now we don't have to drop the tank. We know we have good 5 volts. We know we have a ground. We could have pierced just the signal wire first. I don't know what's going on as far as his repairs. We do got some tub and tile caulk action there. we almost have to assume it's going to be something in this vicinity. Let me get my glasses and I'm going to have a look up inside that cavity without tearing all this apart. I don't see anything on this side of the connector. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. But he did make that note that he did something there. So let's see if we can let the car down and look up inside the car and see if we can find out where these repairs were made. Let's see here. I'm just going to leave our stuff hooked right there for now. I'm going to take the probe off from our 5-volt wire. We'll come back and repair those. I think it's fair to mention also that having 1.5 volts coming out, or the 1.4 whatever volts coming out of the sensor, proves that our sensor wire isn't shorted. I don't think that I mentioned, you know, we could have missing 5 volts, you know, shorted the ground, or actually open circuited. And the only reason I didn't mention the open circuit initially is because in my mind I thought the open circuit, I thought it had a 5-volt bias on it, but clearly I'm wrong. The wire is open circuited and it's at 0 volts. So this is nice. The seats are already gone, so perhaps he's already looked under here, which I can assume. Got the duct tape. Well, let's do this. We've got our wire right here. We've got our meter right here. Oops, we don't want resistance. Voltage. We're still 1.43 volts underneath. Let's just check the wire up here before we get too far. Green wire. Check it right out here in the open. There's that. Let me unplug from down here. Plug it up from up here. Survey says 1.43 volts. So our through the car connector is good. The wire is bad from here to there. Let me grab his paper again. Wires from fuel tank and back wheels pass through a connector plate behind the driver's seat. Those connectors are badly corroded, so he spliced the fuel system at 70K. Okay. So I thought that he said he made some repairs here. Maybe under that plate or something. Alright, so we're going to keep on keeping on. Looks like they probably run through the sill plate. So that's good to know. We'll leave that there for right now because we'll have to come back to that. But we've broke the system down from here to up there somewheres. Before we get wicked far, I do like to get an OEM diagram. Color diagrams are okay, but worthless when it comes to showing the truth. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 connectors on this system. This connector C305C, that's the one we just checked. That's the one that comes through the floor. The next connector in line is C203, and I've got that down here. That's a 56 pin gray and black left side of the steering column. So that's where those wires, what's up, Miss O?
Brought you a cup of joe.
Oh, you're a good woman. Might be all nuked here. I went to the McDonald's and got one this morning.
I was surprised you needed any diagrams for this old thing. It doesn't have like 3 wires?
No. Lots of wires, big old fat wires. Thanks, Miss O. And then we have, where did we leave off here? Connector C101. That is a 20 pin gray lower left engine compartment, and then we ultimately end at the PCM. So we need to make a decision. I think I was mentioning about that 56 pin 203. I assume it's because the wires run up through this threshold. I'm going to do a visual inspection on that. I see the threshold is missing. I see where the wires run through here. And I'm just going to do a visual inspection to see, you know, because this thing's what, 30, I don't know, 20 or 30 years old. It's old, 20 years old, 04, right? So I'm going to do a visual inspection to see if there's any chafage there causing our open circuit. We know it's not shorted because it would pull, or at least this half of it's not shorted because it would be pulling our voltage down, which it hasn't yet. Let me look there. If I don't see anything visual here, then we're going to try to look under the hood. It's a pretty big mess under the hood, lots of oil spray, so it's going to be a messy job. Visual inspection revealed that connector is gravy train to get to. I just back probed the dark green wire there, and we're still at 1.4 and some change, so that's good. We know we don't even have to look under the carpet or anything because we got voltage to that point. I have no idea where that other connector is. It just says lower left side of engine compartment. I believe the main brain box, if you will, lives inside the air filter, which are notorious for animal rodent damage. We've done lots of videos on those on these General Motors products that put the air filter in the put the air filter in the air box. Idiots, you know, puts the engine controller in the air box. We do see some mousage. We know that we have power. Of course, we cannot see the other side of that bulkhead connector. It is buried behind the brake booster and the ABS valve and all that stuff there. Not good. I think what we need to do, if it were me, and it is in this case, so we're going to do what I want to do, not what you want to do. We're going to get rid of this thing. We're going to get rid of the air box. And we're going to go right to the source. We're going to make sure that we're missing it at the source and it's not just a bad main brain, which we doubt. So let's do that. Get this out of the way, get this bar out of the way. Air filter, man, I'm having some flashbacks looking at this thing. The number of intake gaskets and head gaskets we've done on these cars in the past is staggering. It looks like this little guy will be sitting right on top, hopefully. See, greasy. There's the main brain. The main brain. No Mises. Son of a mother. I know we probably got it here. Or we probably don't have it here, rather. Come on, Eric, use your nose, man. I usually have a big nose. I can sniff these things out. Well, let's just verify yay or nay here at the PCM. It's probably a nay. And then we'll go from there. Then we got to figure it out in this short little section. Hopefully it's somewhere we can see it. Like I say, we got 10 pounds of stuff in a 5-pound bag, as they like to say. There's one for the record books. Not a single broken clip. Those things are usually a monster to get off. And usually you break, 7 out of 6 clips. We're going for the ground right there. We're going to back probe pin number 55, I believe it was. Here's 55 right here, which is dark green. Guess what? We have Zippo, zero zilch. About 10 millivolts. What'd you expect to see? Well, 1.5 volts would have been a lovely day. Because then we could just make a call on the brain box. That's it, we got nothing. Alright, Pop, how do you know that you're in the right wire and whatnot? Well, here's our voltage there. We're going to do the old test light trick me mom taught me. We're going to take our test light, we're hooking it to the battery plus. Anything we touch that's the ground's going to light it up. And then we're going to probe into this with 12 volts. And nothing. What's going on here, Rocco? Why is that not pulling it up? Whoa, dude. Pin 55. Dark green, unless both... that would not be something if both sides had a dark green pin in 55. Make us look like a real idiot. Typically, you would take your 12 volts and you would pull that up. We do have 12 volts here. We're back probed into number 55, which is the signal wire. Let me make sure our data is live here. on our screen. Should be, our key's still on. We got nothing. Why is that not pulling up? Let me make sure that we're on the right pin 55. That sure would be something, wouldn't it? Well, let's just see. Pin 34 is supposed to be gray if we're in the right connector. Pin 34, where are you? 31, 32, 33, 30. 31, 32, 30. You son of a mother. Can you guys believe that? No, no way. Bull spit. Pin 34, right? What are the odds of that? Here, I'm thinking I'm a lucky duck because I got that thing up there, that cover up there and everything like that. Let's see, 34, gray. 34, empty. Son of a hoo-ha. It can't be. It can't be. Let me get a pair of side cutters here. Well, let's see. Let's see if we can't get this connector off without breaking it. Hey, we're 2 for 2 already. It's 2 for Tuesdays. But today's Monday. Ooh, look how close it's coming. I didn't bother to check which connector. I just figured, well, we'll pull it off, and if pin 50 whatever is green, then we're in the right connector. If it's not, we're in the wrong connector. Okay, look at that, man. 2 for 2. And we need pin number pin 55. 34 is gray. Oh, look at that. Pin 34 has a gray wire. Son of a gun. Look at that. Number 55 is dark green. Wow. You just got burned, old son. Big time. You want to talk about wild goose chase? Good thing we did the old bypass test, huh? Come on, Josh. Over there trying to make money. Wow. Alright, so we're back probing this one. Man, Mrs. O, things are getting heated out here.
It's hot out here?
No, it's getting heated up. Our diagnostics.
You hot on the trail?
Wow, we almost got slid. Well, we did get slid a little bit. Okay, so here we are, folks. Still, same results. No voltage, so 23 millivolts. But now, when we do our bypass test, hey, look at that. What do you know? What do you say, huh? Okay. Woo! So now when we do our bypass test, what's up? She goes right to 5 volts. We unbypass it, and we go back to, you son of a frig hole. 1 point. It's kind of half-ass working now. It wasn't working. You can see there in the beginning of that graph, it wasn't working. We stick a little bit to it. Son of a mother. Do we really have that voltage there? What? Oh, I don't want the delta. Now look, 1.16 volts or 1 point whatever volts it is. 1.1 volts. All we did, oh, there we go. Oh, what's up? Just did a little wiggle, wiggle. Okay, let's wiggle this around. Oh, does this mean we're close to the, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. We're close to something. Now we just gotta find it. So, let's get a pair of snippers. We're gonna give it a little snippy snip because we're close. We're close, man. We're zooming in here, boys. Ah, dang it, forgot my knife. Frick. off. Forgot my knife. Ah! Ho, 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 ho. Well, good morning there, sunshine. Lots of broken wires. Ew. So this was down here underneath this new radiator hose. Oh boy. Oh boy. We're just gonna pick at it with a screwdriver because this guy left his knife somewheres. Not in his pocket. There's one bad wire. There's another bad wire. We got one bad wire. Whoops, sorry. You lost the money shot, folks. There's one bad wire, two bad wires, three bad wires, four bad wires. Do the Sesame Street version. Five bad wires. Six bad wires. I think it was just the one sitting on top, the poly loom. This is Polly. Say, everybody say hi to Polly. Poly loom done chafed it. That one's close. We're in bear cup, boy. Yeah, we're close to the bear. I can feel it clicking on the bear cop. Oh yeah, there's the shiny spot, old son. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wires that need fixing. Let's call the dealer, get this guy a harness. But this is our wire that's going to fix our code. Let me show you. In case you don't believe me. Nobody ever believes me for some reason. Oh, here comes Mrs. O. We can strut.
Strutting?
Yeah, here you go, Mrs. O. That's about the best I can do for you.
Found it? Of course. I never doubted you for a second.
Now we need to do a bypass. Actually, we found a 6 of broken wires.
There's a lady on the phone wanted to know about her hood latch on her old Honda.
I told her to send her husband was going to go down to Wilbert's and get one.
You told her that or him that?
I told her that. I called her out and says, hey lady, listen, this hood latch is a lot of money. I know your husband likes to go to Wilbert's, you pulled a bath, not a sponsor, but he used to work there.
Yeah.
And I told her to tell him to go there and get one because it only costs probably like 15 bucks.
And then you'll put it in?
And I'll put it in for her.
How much time do you need?
Oh, half hour maybe.
And if you can't locate one?
Then I'll go down and do what I got to do, Vanessa. Customer satisfaction's my number 2 priority.
And number 1?
You. Duh. So there we are.
There.
Huh?
It's how we know you're successful there.
Yeah, no, I don't want to brag. 1.43 volts. So good, we're fixed. The problem is fixed. We found the problem, we came, we saw, we kicked it. We conquered. I'm gonna go through and fix these. I'm just gonna do crimp and seal connectors because what we have going on, like I say, old Polly here was just a chafing away. We'll have to put the covers back on all this baloney back here. And that's it. So typical SMA video. We identify the problem, we find the problem, we fix the problem, and then we make another show doing the same exact thing over and over and over again. Enhance. I already enhanced on you. But this is what things look like down here. So hopefully you guys can see that and tell what happened, how the poly loom just rubbed it. So we got some bare wire there, a little bit of bare wire there. Obviously the green wire was bare. The orange and black down there is rubbed through. So any of these that look like they have a little hitch in their giddy up, we're just going to take care of. I don't know what they go to. Clearly, whatever it is still working. But, you know, in the future, that's going to be a problem if we turn a blind eye to it, if you will. After closer examination, I repaired 6 wires total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. In case you didn't think I could count. Just simply cut them at the bad spots. The wires were still in good shape. And then used, you know how you pronounce it, a Schronica Welcome to Histronica. Hope you brought your hula hoop, glow sticks, and some ecstasy, because I'm your DJ. That's what it sounds like it should be. Sounds like it should be a club that we're going to. Learning how to dubstep or something. But it's not. They're just butt connectors. Crimp and seal style with adhesive. So just cut it, crimped it, heated it, sealed it. We're going to tape it, pretend we never saw it, and then stuff it back down where it's supposed to be. I'm going to examine it again one more time. I see a couple that have chafage here, but they're a long ways from breaking through, so we're not worried about those. I think what we'll do is we'll get some Tessa, old Tessa tape. We got a bunch of that, and we will wrap it. Not that kind of wrap. We'll wrap it up and hope for the best. This stuff is pretty good at being resistant against abrasion. Tessa, T-E-S-A. In case you're wondering, you can do the Googling on the Google machine. You'll see a lot in the Euro world. That's what they tell me. I don't work on European cars, so I don't know that for facts. But I think when I go to buy it, it's usually advertised as like, you know, Mercedes, BMW, yada yada yada. Down here, we're going to hook onto that factory tape. We're just going to do up this section here that appeared to be the culprit. We're going to give it 2 full layers up here on the important part. Stuff's a pain in the butt to cut. You have a pretty sharp razor to cut through it. And there we are. We'll get a pair of side cutters here. We'll see if these are sharp enough. There it is. Tessa. T-E-S-A. Now we will break out the Scotch tape. Super 33. One wrap there. We're going factory style with this one. The classic wrap under the loom and then around the loom, huh? Come up and seal the end in. Just like she came from the showroom, boys. Now that's sealed in. Now we'll do the big loop-de-loops. Get her all factory looking almost. Just to keep this tape shut. Probably not going to be able to make it down to the crack where it starts. Nope, we'll end it right here. We'll end it right there. Good enough. Different pair of side cutters. We like to use multiple side cutters. And then that harness back down below, and that's going to lay in there just like so. Great job. We need this one here. Did that go that way or did that go this way? I think it went facing out, if I remember correctly, where the little zip tie holders are. This one did not have zip ties on it, however. Cannot believe for the life of us that pin 55 had a green wire on both connectors. Let that be the lesson of this video. Not so much the nonsense of how to find a broken wire, because we all know how to do that. But never assume. I'm glad we did a bypass test. I'll tell you that much. That's why we test, don't guess, folks. I don't know if I've got zip ties tiny enough to stick back in that or not. Let me go have a looky. I don't have any black ones, but I've got some white ones here. which shouldn't really matter. They'll both work, but the problem is when he goes to the car show, if he's got his hood up, Judge sees that, that's a no-go. So could be standing in between him and the 13th place trophy. But we do what we gotta do. Either way, we're not using flush cuts. Leave them nice and sharp for the next guy. Oh well, did I just click that back out? I did. I can't believe I didn't break either one of those. That's why we did it all off camera in case plastic started flying. I don't want people getting all sensitive. Okay. Wires are all back. Those wires are down there. I'm happy, you're happy. I'm gonna throw this thing back together. You've already seen too much. I'm gonna fix the wires that I poked back at the back. And then we're gonna go work on this Chevy over here. Maybe we'll do a video on that one. That one sounds like it might be fun. No turn signal, intermittently. Until I brought it in, the right side turn signal was working. Moments later, it wasn't. Done everything to it already, I guess. Oh, that was down. So that sounds like it'll be a fun one. Apparently they've done the bulb and all that stuff. It's just the right front signal that goes out. That ain't going nowhere. So this car is kind of old school, and what you can do, instead of clearing the codes, because I was hoping his monitors were set so he could go get his sticker. I see it's got banana peels on the front tires, so I can't put sticker on it because the tires are bald. But I just did, 3 key cycles, started it, shut it off, started, shut off, did that 3 times. The engine light went out on its own. Because it's a 2-trip, or no, that's probably a 1-trip code. Maybe a 2-trip code. Pending code, then mature code. But to get it to clear, you do 3 cycles. It does 3 tests. Well, this does a test immediately as soon as you turn the key on, does that circuit test. The light went out on its own. However, the readiness monitors are not set. So he must have been, probably been trying to clear the code. Inspection ran out last month. The catalyst is incomplete. EVAP system incomplete naturally, and O2 sensor monitor. So he's going to have to drive the vehicle, and then the customer's going to have to be aware that this potentially could have other, could have catalyst codes, could have EVAP leaks, could have problems now. So we still show that PO452 in there. I'm just going to leave it because, like I say, the engine light is out, which is good. And as you can see here, it states that too. Your mil is off. It is not being commanded on. Just that history code in it. 5 monitors okay, 3 not set. So that's going to be up to him at this point. So we'll exit out of there. And that's that, folks. There's nothing else to see. Like I said, I'm still going to button it up. But just normal, this is just normal stuff. It's just a circuit code. We're only dealing with 3 wires. And then ultimately, once we discover what the issue is, we're only dealing with 1 wire, and then it's just a matter of finding it. And then we determined from the back it wasn't a short, but it was definitely an open circuit, as we've seen here. Then when we probed it with our test light, applying 12 volts to it so we could see, do a bypass test, and then all of a sudden that voltage stayed there. That told me right away, which I didn't mention out loud, is that we're probably dealing with corrosion more than we are a complete open circuit. Which we ultimately saw. There was just that tiny bit of corrosion. We send that little bit of current through it, and it kind of, sizzles itself when we wiggle the wire, and then it just, dissipates away. So let that be a lesson to you. That's it. I don't know. Keep on keeping on, I guess, in that comment section, folks. Insta Facebook. You know where we're at. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.